Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. This week I would like to discuss a topic you don't hear about very often, but which will become more and more important as time goes by, and that is how to deal with a woman making more money than the man. And as women are becoming more successful in business and they're making more money, often they do make more money than their guy. And you think the guy would be happy about that. But sometimes he's not. And so, how can a woman deal with that type of situation? And I wanted to discuss this because I was speaking with someone who was in a relationship and her boyfriend actually broke up with her because he was uncomfortable with the situation. And she did make some mistakes in dealing with the amount of money she made and with the relationship. And so I want to give some tips of what you should do so that the same thing doesn't happen to you. The thing to understand about men is that they want to be their woman's hero. They want the woman to look up to him. And often, if he's not making as much money as her, he doesn't feel that way because providing for women has historically been the man's job. And so he feels that, well, if I'm not providing the money, if I'm not making more money, then how can she look up to me? So you have to show him that you appreciate him in ways that don't involve money. And there's obviously many ways that you can do that. Anytime he does anything for you, be sure to thank him. Be sure you let him know that you appreciate it. When he picks you up from the airport, when he fixes something for you, just anything. Look for ways to appreciate him in ways that don't involve money. Now, one mistake that this woman made was that she gave him money without him asking because it was a long distance relationship and he thought that he wouldn't be able to visit her because he didn't have the money. And so she put some money into his account and that did not go over well. And you can't do that because the man ends up feeling like a child, like mom just gave him some money to pay for his expenses. So just because you can pay for things like trips, etc., and can give him money that he needs, it doesn't mean that you should give it to him, and it doesn't mean that you should offer it. I mean, he should know that if he needs money, that you're willing to give it to him, but don't give it to him unless he asks. The key here is communication. So you want to ask him how he wants to handle the money situation. And if he says, hey, you make more money? No problem. Great. That's pressure off of me. However, if he does have an issue with you making more money, then here's some tips, and you can take them or leave them. So, one is avoiding double dates with rich couples. I know it sucks because if you have rich friends, you want to hang out, but if he feels uncomfortable because he's not at the same level, then you may have to think twice about hanging out with them or limiting how often you hang out with them or how much you hang out with them. Another one is to, if you want to go someplace that's expensive and he can't afford it, then if you really want to go with a female friend, whether that's to a restaurant or a weekend trip or a vacation. There's no reason why you should miss out. So if you have the money and if he can't afford it and if he doesn't want to go or if he can't go, then feel free to go with a friend. And if he has a problem with that, then that's going to be a problem because your life shouldn't be limited just because he has limited funds. If you have the funds and you want to do things, that's fine. So you want to make sure that he's not controlling your actions just because he's making less money. Also, if he says he doesn't want you to pay for something, then don't. Just because you can, it doesn't mean you should. You might want to ask, hey, do you mind if I pay for this? Do you mind if I pay for that? If he says no, then don't insist. Remind him that the reasons you love him or that the reasons you're with him have nothing to do with money, obviously. And that way, he knows that you love him for who he is and you don't care how much money he has or doesn't have. and let him be the man in other areas, as I mentioned before. So let him fix things, open doors, protect you, take the more traditional feminine role in areas other than money. And that will help him to feel more like your hero because he's able to do things for you. Even though you may be making more money, at least he's able to do other things. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. As a woman, it's nice to have a man around. It's nice to have someone that does open the door and opens jars and fixes things and is there for you, and someone to cuddle up with. I mean, there's so much that someone contributes. It isn't just about money, but a lot of times when a woman is making more money, the man feels less than. And so you have to show him, no, no, I do want you here. I need you here. You provide so many things for me. I love you and I want you here. So as long as you communicate that, then hopefully it shouldn't be a problem. But if you're doing all these things and you're not making money an issue, and you are showing him that he is important to you and he still has an issue, then that's him. That's his own issue to deal with, and you shouldn't blame yourself. You can't blame yourself. And he needs to find a way to either deal with it, or he may have to find someone else who makes less money than him or the same amount, and you may have to move on to someone who really doesn't care how much money you make and might actually be happy, but not too happy, that you make more money. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments about this, you can contact me at my website, theartoflove.net. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.